For many moons, I eagerly waited the chance to play my PS5 again. Finally, success. Until this happened. This time the culprit is obvious, overheating. But what really caused it? Did the fan stop working? No, it's blowing like a turbojet. Could it be because it is placed vertically? Probably. Is it the thermal paste? Possibly. Well, the only way to find out, I had to painstakingly unscrew all the bits again, which most of you hated as well.
It's time to open everything.
What I have discovered will probably shock some of you. Look at that. An apparent spot on the APU is pretty much drained. Out of curiosity, I tried to search for the APU die and stumbled upon this forum section on Neoga discussing the APUs between PS5 and Xbox Series. Big claps for username Super Ayate for providing the image just for my tiny brain to understand. The spot that is drained could be where all the GPUs are at, and it could also prove that placing your console vertically is actually doing harm in the long run. That might explain the fan spiking, trying to blow off heat with no metal slime between the heatsink. Apart from the metal slime issue at hand, the thermal pads for the fats and chokes are crumbling as well. Seems the right time to replace them. Thankfully, I still have a sheet left. And this Play-Doh is indeed expensive. Like the Play-Doh, this slime isn't cheap. Just 5 grams of it could buy you a bucket of Nando's. Okay, with that confirmed, it's time to clean up the surface. For my case, I had to carefully use grit paper to remove the oxidized metal residue. After tens of Q-tips, grinding, and alcohol rubs, the result came out to be unscratched mirror, reflective, just like me, reflecting on the good old days back in the early 90s. But I digress. Next comes the nitpicky part. Before placing new thermal pads, I had to remove and clean the old thermal pads. Though it was crumbling, some parts like the tiny crevices took me hours to completely remove and clean them up, and I gotta say, it was strangely satisfying, like picking a bunch of morning boogers from the nostrils.
So the next part is gonna be the testing. Liquid metal, reapply.
Time to pour some metal slime on it and clamp it all together with the heatsink. Okay, next step, using scissors, I cut the thermal pads accordingly to the size needed to cover the fats and other components on the board. This stuff is weak, it goes limp while it's on your palm, so I had to be quick and careful not to waste it. Finally, it's time to put everything back together. I mean, Sony really screw things up with those tiny screws. If I lose one, my OCD might reach a whole new level. Now, let's power on the PS5 and let it slow cook for 30 minutes, just like a pot of chicken curry masala. During the wait, no temperature warnings or sudden fan turbojetting like before, which is very promising. Let's check the temperature alongside the rear vent grills. Trying my best to get direct contact with the heatsink inside. Doing a swipe scan, I can say it is relatively at a good degree. Mindful that I'm currently living in a land lush with durians, papayas, bananas, and pineapples. A heavily tropical and thundery place. So what you see, it is what it is. For me, another mission success. So my total cost of fixing this, 5 grams of metal slime and a pack of 1 sheet Play-Doh, an experience gain, priceless. Worth it, but do it at your own risk. To wrap it up, I decided to play FF7 Rebirth, similar to my PS5, which just got rebirth from the dead as well. What a fitting end to this whole debacle. And of course, thanks for watching.